Welcome to another episode of Haunt Talk. In today's episode, we're going to be reviewing the Nevermore haunt. This place is in a creepier location than what you just had to witness.
Yeah.
Wow, yeah. This place is in one of the creepiest spots. It is like
all the buildings around it are just falling apart.
I have pictures, I guess, so I'll show. I should have took video, but I did take pictures, and it really is just like in a derelict, like old town. Because I think it's actually wherever it's like Old Town.
It was
whatever.
called Old Town Mall.
Yes.
Yeah.
So the best way I can describe it, because it's really popular. If you've ever been to like Old Town Kissimmee, which has Morton Manor in it, imagine that, but everything around Morton Manor is derelict and falling apart, and there's a haunted house.
Yeah.
That's what it is. So super creepy atmosphere. You know, you park and you just walk and you don't see the haunt first. You just walk and you're like, am I in the right place? Am I going to die? But no, it's fine, I guess. And they've kind of turned this whole derelict section into like a little party.
Yeah.
So yeah, that was kind of fun. Yeah, so there's like there's like magicians, you can buy food. Oh, and then, you know what? Me and Kim went to, and we're gonna like a little side note here, because this might be a short, because this haunt was shorter, so I don't know how long we're gonna ramble on. I will probably ramble on forever, but they had the food truck for Jimmy's Famous Seafood there.
Yeah.
Which is where we went to eat, which was we had all the crab. We became crabs, actually.
All the crab.
Also, another real fun thing to do if you're in Baltimore, like, and looking for something to do, is do the tour of, what was it called? Sycamore? The whiskey place.
Oh, Sagamore Springs.
Sagamore Springs. Yeah, do that tour. It's awesome and it's fun. So if you're looking for something to do in Baltimore, if you're going there for haunted houses, make sure you do that and go to Jimmy's Famous Seafood. Very good.
Thumbs
or just
up for rye whiskey.
Yeah, real good. Or you could just get Jimmy's Seafood here, but they do have like a bar and stuff like that, and there's like a DJ, so real fun party atmosphere. But yeah, that being said, we were going to start talking about the haunt, but of course that means we need to refer to the Book of the Dead. Book of the Dead. Book of the Dead. Book of the Dead. All right, so starting things off with sets and props. What the theme of it overall was like 1800s Baltimore.
Yes, you were basically told that you were being transported to when this place used to be a furniture store, and you're being transported to that era, 1800s Baltimore, when this store was actually open, and you're gonna go into it and see how the life was for Baltimoreans.
Yeah. So definitely a unique theme, like going back and like exploring the streets of like 1800s Baltimore.
Yeah.
I don't think there's any other haunt that has that theme.
No.
So definitely points for originality there.
Yeah.
I did like that, and I did kind of know that going in. I have heard a couple things about this haunt when like researching places to go to, but.
So yeah, it's in an old furniture store, which was that was kind of interesting. There's like a little of everything in this haunt, kind of.
Yeah, and they tie it all together with that theme, but there is like multiple different like sections to it for sure.
So one of the first things that we came up to was a guy who said that he was gonna make us coffins.
Mm-hmm. So your coffin maker, which that's definitely still a thing that exists, but yeah.
So we got to he picked coffins for us and slammed us into them.
Yep. So you got to walk through the coffins. Now there's a few times where like you're separated in this haunt, but you're separated for like maybe 5 seconds at that. One of the real cool first scenes that we came across after that was a clock tower scene. Mm-hmm. There's like a swinging pendulum, and like the actor that I think kind of controls it, and like he actually almost makes it so you have to like dodge the pendulum so it doesn't just smack you.
Yeah, I think the pendulum was like styrofoam.
Oh yeah, I don't think
like one of the soft foam things, but it was kind of terrifying.
Yeah, because it looks heavy. I'm sure it wouldn't hurt you if it actually hit you, but I kind of like weaved in and out. There's a cool setup where you kind of go into a magician's room, and they're like, and they do a lot of things where it's kind of like you're blocked off from continuing until an actor basically allows you to continue.
Yeah, which I really liked, because I felt like we were in this haunt by ourselves.
Right, we never caught up to.
Yeah.
This is like the only one we went to over the weekend that never caught up to, or had or been caught up to by
other
people.
Yeah.
So that was actually really neat. But yeah, the magician's room was cool, and this is another one where they kind of made us go separate ways, but for 5 seconds.
Yeah.
Then we went through like a sewer scene. That was fun. There was like some weird ass puppet, and I don't know what it was. We saw this puppet later too.
Yeah.
I don't know what it is. If it's a giant rat or it was like some kind of like white and red spotty looking thing, and it kind of came out and tried to eat Kim. I don't know.
Yeah, I wasn't really sure what the first one was, and the second one, I thought it was maybe a shark or something, but
I don't think so. I don't know what it was.
If you know, let us know.
Yeah. There was a cool, Nick, something about, you said you saw spiders or something somewhere.
Yeah, I think down in the sewer, like, area, there was a little area after that was spiders or bugs or something, because I did hear, like, kind of noises. There's some free ASMR for you.
There you go. Yeah.
Which I thought was kind of creepy, because I was like, oh, it sounds like there's things crawling around. Yuck.
There's a cool, like, downtown section where you kind of had to, like, they had it set up so you had to walk in the town for a while. Obviously, It's not the streets of London, but the theme, the way it was lit and everything reminded me quite a bit of 100 Acre Manors, like the streets of London.
Yes.
Obviously, this is streets of downtown Baltimore in the 1800s, but I thought that was cool. Then one of the our favorite scenes was like the dock.
Yeah.
That was really neat.
That was really cool, because it was very unexpected, because they kind of have you come up onto this dock. And you're walking through this thing, and then all of a sudden, the dock just kind of tips over.
Yeah, and we've seen this effect in other haunts, but it was we did not suspect it or expect it, and yeah, it definitely gave us a little startle. Yeah, because they make you like walk on both sides, and it's almost like a barrel that just like tips back and forth.
Yeah.
So that was really cool. One of my favorite scenes that I've been to in a haunt was so unique. Was the doll room. So you walk in and there's this creepy little devil statue, and you notice that he's following you around the room. So I'm like, well, they must have like a motion sensor in this little like puppet that like just tracks movement. And then you walk into the next room, which is a bunch of dolls that
like
all have the same effect. And so you're walking their little creepy heads that are controlled by a robot, which makes it even weirder. So it's that weird like stilted movement as they just slowly follow you as you're moving around, because I'm pretty sure they are, because it was like precise to our movement. It didn't seem like they were just moving back and forth. It really, I do believe it's a motion sensor, because I even noticed the devil, because when we got to the end of the room, his head stopped. It didn't move back, it just stopped. And then I did notice, like when we went around the corner, I kind of looked behind me, and then it seemed like it reset.
Yeah. And then we walked into the other room, and I'm like, because he said something as we were walking out of the devil doll room, and we walk into the next room, and I'm like, they're all following us.
Creepy.
And I just see all these dolls with their eyes just at us at this doorway, and I'm just like,
yeah.
Oh God. There's like 10 of them just sitting there staring at us.
And they're like legit like actual dolls. I don't think they're like something that they just bought. I do believe like I
think they put something in them.
Yeah, I think that they like rigged them to do that, which is really cool. There's this like weird like hallway with like all these like different doormats that I don't know if they're pressure sensors. Like I'm not really sure. There's like all these mats just on the floor.
Yeah. Well, they did the people that were in there too. They were like, we don't know.
I think they were just.
They might have been screwing with us, who knows? But yeah, we kept walking, and every so often there were like these little pieces of carpet just kind of chilling in the middle of the walkway, and I'm just like,
I will say I really liked the way this place was lit. That was really cool. And then you come to and man, I really want to spoil the final room of this place, but it is something so unique that I've never seen anywhere else. It is so cool. And it's funny because I had watched another YouTuber who did a small walkthrough. I didn't see much of the place. And he had mentioned, he's like, the final room is really something else in this place. He's like, I'm not going to show it up. And so I was curious. And I didn't know we were in the final room. And then when it happened, I was like, oh, this must be the final room. I will say that it is like a Venus flytrap type of scene. There's a giant like puppet at the very end you can see. It's a long like rectangle room. And yeah, there's just a scare that happens in there multiple times, and it is really freaky, and it's very, like, it makes you really uneasy as you walk through this room. You really feel like something's gonna get you, and it like, does.
I don't usually, like, walk fast through haunted houses, and I actually wanted to walk fast through this area after the first time it happened, and I was just like, I want out of this room.
Yeah.
Like, they're what? Like, I didn't understand what was happening, and it was just like, I want out of this room.
Yeah, it's real crazy, and again, I feel like it's so unique that spoiling it would take away the fun.
Yeah.
If you're someone that really wants to know what this is, and you're like a follower of the channel and stuff, like, you can message me on Facebook, and I'll let you know if you don't think you're going to be able to make it to here. But it's cool. Yeah, sets and props. There was a couple spots like that could have done a little bit more with, but for the most part, we really enjoyed what we saw, and we really liked the uniqueness of it.
Yes.
Yeah.
So we gave them a 9 for sets and props.
Yep, yeah, very cool sets and props, really unique. And we do, before we move on to actors, just want to remind everyone that we do have our merch line. If you want to purchase a shirt, hoodie, bag, coffee mug with our cool pumpkin on it. It says Haunt Talk on the front, and it says Haunt Talk on the back, but in Japanese, so that's cool. Also, if you want to help support us, check out our Patreon. You can be like a member to get charged monthly, and we have different tiers with different little goodies you can get. You can also leave us a tip by leaving us a super thanks. It's YouTube's version of a tip, so that helps us out. And also just leaving comments and just, just whatever, just having discussion also just really helps us that way as well. So if you don't have the money to give or can't support us in that way, just liking and subscribing and leaving a comment and sharing as well. We don't talk about it very often, but like sharing the reviews with your friends and stuff like that also really helps. And, let us know where you would like us to go in future years. We love hearing your guys' suggestions. Obviously, this is probably like the last round of places we're really going to be able to make it. But if you would like to see us do like a blackout haunt or something like that in like the early week of November, let us know about that. But that being said, we will now move into the category of actors.
All right. So they actually had quite a bit of actors in this place. Because every scene was kind of like a little like vignette, yeah. So you had like actors kind of like interacting with you, asking you questions, making you do things, stuff like that. So the first person, well, outside there was actually some queue line actors. There was one that was really weird. He was in like a giant pajama onesie, and he had this weird face that was like fabric and yarn, and he had like yarn hanging down, and he kept stroking it like it was a beard. He was just like going like this, and
like he was like talking like really funny too. Like there was these people in front of us that wanted to like take a picture of him, and he's like, "Oh yeah, you got a real cool vibe going on." And
yeah,
like I don't know, it was really strange.
Yeah, it was really odd. And then they had some other actors. There was a guy kind of I think he was supposed to be like kind of like a clown, but he kind of reminded me of one of the Lollipop Guild munchkins. So he had like the striped socks and the little shorts. I don't even know if I saw this guy, but I remember you talking about him, yeah. And then he had like the makeup, like the old-fashioned clown makeup with the half circle over like your eyes and stuff like that. And then so we get into the area where they're going to let us into the place, and we were introduced to Joe Mama.
Yeah.
Who basically told us the rules.
And she was fun.
Yeah. She was fun.
I don't know how to describe it, but she was exactly what I thought someone with the name Joe Mama should be. Like, yeah, I thought she was, I really liked her character. She was pretty cool and a good, like, introduction to the haunt. And kind of, like, set up the expectation of, like, what the theme is, and that's you kind of understood.
Yeah.
Like, what your adventure was about to be. All right, and then after Joe Mama, you come across the coffin guy, which we kind of talked about him earlier. And, yeah, he, like, slams the door behind you, and it's so freaking loud.
It's really loud. Then we come up to a guy who is like kind of like a magician. He actually has some tarot cards, and he asks who, we're gonna read a fortune for, whatever like that. And he pulls a card for whoever it is, and we had to go into separate doors and stuff like that. There was like a heaven and a hell.
Yep.
I got hell. Sorry. There was, in the village, there was a bunch of guys in there, and they didn't really say much.
There's two, actually. I think there's two.
Yeah, there was and they just kind of, like, followed us around.
And just, like, stared us down the whole time.
Yeah.
We were in this room for a minute, and it was just creepy.
Yeah.
I do like that they had pretty decent hiding spots. So like the actors that were there for the jump scares would it was pretty effective. Like the one had like these long like fingers, and like she would reach out because they do a little bit of touching here. She'd reach out and kind of like just lightly grab you.
Yeah.
Ooh, and then probably one of the best scares we got was I just put it as the lightning room. So it's basically a dark maze, but then randomly lightning will strike and everything lights up.
Yeah. So it very disorientating because, you know, you're in a dark room, this bright light shines in your face, and you can't see anything. And then there's a guy in front of you.
Oh, yeah. He scared the crowd. Because Kim was leading at this point, because I think we switched.
Yeah, I made a noise.
Yeah, she actually squealed on this one. And again, if you watch our videos much at all, Kim doesn't scream that much, but he got an actual scream at her. So if you happen to be seeing this guy in the lightning room, he did a good job.
Yes.
Oh, I forgot. Yeah, there's this really fun woman in a wheelchair. So when she wheels up to you, she has, you know, like 2 legs. And one of them, because I assume like in real life that, or she has it hidden, but I think in real life she only probably has 1 leg. One of the legs is a prop legs, and she rips it off and starts, and then she's like, I'm just so hungry. She's like, I had to eat my own leg, and she rips it off, and she goes, nom, 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 nom. And then she kept reaching up behind me and grabbing like my calf and going, nom, 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 like that at me, and I thought that was really funny. In a good like little scare.
There was a guy who, he was in like kind of like a not really a butcher shop, but like a shop of some sort, and he was selling like body parts and things, and he had a skull in his hand, and he's like, today's special is head cheese. And he starts laughing. Well, this other guy comes from the hallway that we're going to be going in, and he just starts laughing hysterically as well, and so they just keep laughing at each other, and they're just like, ha 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 ha.
Yeah, it was really maddening.
Yeah, it was very weird, and like you're just like, what is happening right now? And then they kind of followed us through into the hallway, and then we got into that hallway that had the weird carpets on the floor and stuff like that, and they were laughing at that. And then there was a woman that actually started laughing with them as well. It was just really strange in that room.
I like that the actors did interact with each other as well. That was cool. They had an extra layer to it. And yeah, the actors did a good job of mixing up like jump scares with more like dialogue driven, like just creepy scenes. And then the woman in the final room was really cool as a distraction for the thing that happens that we don't want to talk about. But she had like this cool like glow in the dark eye thing she was making us look at. So she was cool.
Yeah.
And the costume and makeup was really good because this haunt, besides the one area that has the lightning striking, is pretty well lit.
Yeah.
So it is good that they had some really nice costuming and stuff. Like even the people outside that aren't like the monsters, like even the DJ, they had like 1800s type of clothing.
Yeah.
And stuff like that, which I thought was a nice touch. But yeah, overall, we really liked we actually thought the actors did a really good job, and there was actually quite a few of them, too. Like, there really wasn't many dead spaces. Someone was either scaring you or entertaining you, so.
So we did give them a 9.5.
Yep.
So that brings us to scare factor. Like we said, they were doing some light touching. You could get a glow stick for no extra charge if you did not want to be touched.
So it's the opposite of most haunts. The glow stick made the monster stay away instead of making it a grope fest.
Yeah, like a Nobu thing.
Yeah.
They had quite a few like interactive props. Like we said, we walked into coffins.
Yeah.
Things like that. Really good jump scares. They did get us quite a few times. A lot of loud noises. Not much on the gore.
Yeah, this place was more, because I mean, there was that butcher shop scene, but it's, more focused on a specific theme, which doesn't really evolve around gore. So.
Yeah, and then they did separate us, but it was only very briefly. A couple of times.
Yeah, very briefly.
Very briefly.
It's more of like the thought of you being separated is the scary part. And then it's like, oh, not really.
Yeah. So we did give them an 8 for scare factor.
Yeah. I think the interactivity of the scares is what kind of elevates a little bit. And I like that they're allowed to lightly touch you.
Yes.
So nothing crazy, but it does add a little extra when like someone might just reach out of the darkness and just kind of just lightly grab you. Just adds a little something.
Yeah. So that brings us to value. It took us about 12 minutes to go through.
Which I will say surprised me because I always, because people like, I actually always do the stopwatch. As soon as we enter, I hit start. So like our times are very accurate when I time them. It's not me just guessing.
Yeah.
And I thought we were in there for 15 to 20 and I look and it's 12 and I'm like, really? That was that short. But they packed so much in that it didn't feel that short.
No. a varied price for general admission. It's $22 to $30, depending on the day you're going. Fast Pass, again, is varied. It's $29 to $40. VIP is $45 to $56, and the VIP is basically the Fast Pass plus you get a drink and food voucher.
I don't know if it's actually 56 or if I mistyped. It might have been supposed to be 55. Not sure. It's probably 55.
No, it's 56.
Was it? Weird.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, it was weird because I thought it was strange too. I'm like,
Yeah.
that's an odd number, but
And
okay.
to be clear, oh yeah, I guess it's 29 to 40 for Fast Pass and 22 to 30 for General. To be clear, the VIP line is the same as Fast Pass. The only difference is that drink and food voucher.
Yes.
So
if you wanted to save and like it might be cheaper to just get the food voucher instead of just paying separately,
Yep.
it might be something you want to do. You get a number when you get in there. So if you buy your tickets online, you still have to check in at the ticket booth. They give you a wristband with a number on it, and they say, we're on such and such a number. When your number is called, you can get into the line. If you're VIP or Fast Pass, you can just automatically go whenever you want.
it reduces your weight but doesn't get rid of it with number system.
Yeah. So we gave them a 7 for value.
The main reason is 7 and not higher is just because it's a pretty short haunt for a pretty high price. Definitely, if you can, do it on one of the $22 nights, because once you get up to $30, I feel like it's kind of pricey for the length of the haunt. But
yeah.
So
that gives us an overall score of 8.75.
Yeah, very unique haunt. If you're in the area, if you're doing Bennett's Curse, it's like literally less than 10 minutes away, I think, from Bennett's Curse. You should definitely hit this one up as well. Ton of fun, great atmosphere, and again, that final room is just something really awesome, and that really put a smile on my face.
Yeah.
But yeah, have you guys been there? What did you think about it? Let us know. We love to hear comments from other people that have been to the place and what they thought of it. And of course, as always, make sure you like and subscribe. And also, it's very important that you ring the notification bell so you don't miss our upcoming videos, because you also have things like the Haunt of the Year Award to look forward to and any other content we put out about haunted houses and then stuff we decide to do in the future. And again, leave us comments on what you'd like to see in the future that might not be haunted attraction related.
Yeah.
Thank you very much for watching, and we will see you guys in the next episode.
Bye.